Alright, everyone, welcome back to another Wash and Talk here in Automotive Anatomy. And I want to say what's up to everybody. I'm really so glad that you guys have been enjoying the last set of cars that we feature, because they're not the typical, T37s and functional height. Our buddy Sam was kind enough to showcase both of his stance cars, and I was very pleased with just the amount of love and encouragement that it was shown on the comment section. So I appreciate that. And then for the classic Japanese classic car show that I ended up going to, the one that I was complaining that some cars I don't believe they're classics. Once you're there, you forget and you just enjoy the moment. And that's kind of the breakdown on those videos. I think that it's important to just enjoy the moment. And I don't know, I mean, today I want to I like sharing my stories from when I was growing up and just different things that I've been through. And we went out for a walk and came back, and I parked the car, and I saw something that I don't really see here in my city, which was a couple kids playing outside. You just don't see that as often now. Everything is digital. They're playing video games with other people, but digitally. And although there's some definitely pros to that and coolness to that, I mean, you can play with somebody across the world. I think that you also kind of lose a lot of the cool things that you and I, that maybe of maybe 35 years of older experience, or 30 and older, or 25 and older. The ones that kind of grew up with technology, but not so like super digitalized like the way kids have it nowadays. And so, man, I remember just being able to memorize like 4 different locker room combinations, my PE locker room combinations, my top 3 friends, phone numbers, and you just, if you said you were gonna go somewhere, we'll see each other at the mall at 5. Then you trusted that we're gonna be there at 5. Obviously that has gone away, and it's a good thing. You have phones, you're in constant communication. But when I hung out with those people when I was in high school, like, we talked to each other because we had no phones. We were gonna be like, so what, do we want to showcase what we're doing, or do we actually want to enjoy what we're doing? And that was the conversation I was having with my wife. I told her, like, my personality is very, it's a unique one, and I'm not gonna lie, it's not everyone's tea. I like to think that I'm very open-minded. I like to think that I'm very accepting of others, but there's just certain things that I'm like, and I kind of try to stay away from those type of personalities. And I don't know. I guess it's just that's the way I've always been. And so this new digital area, or era, I should say, not area, era of showing me exactly what you do, where you do it, with who you're doing it. It's fun, but at the same time, it's almost like, well, are you actually enjoying the moment, or you're not? They say that some people go on the hike for for the picture, not for the hike. That was Gary V. If you guys don't follow Gary Vaynerchuk, I think you guys should, if you want to. But yeah, he mentioned that, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. Some people just go for the hike for the picture, not necessarily because of the hike. And so that's kind of what we're facing with this whole social media trend and technology. Like, we're doing things just to kind of show other people that we're doing things, but are we enjoying it for ourselves? And I'm that type of person that I try to minimize electronics. Lately, I have been in the computer quite a bit more. I don't know if I've been trying to listen to more audiobooks, and so I put them in my computer, and I'll listen to them with a headset or just out the speaker, and then I'm doing X, Y, or Z. This book that I'm right now listening to is called The Richest Man in Babylon. And I've told you guys before, I'm not setting out to make millions. I really am not. And it's not that I'm complacent. It's just I'm a true believer that it's not how much you make, is how you manage it. And so more money in my current situation, like a lot more money, I personally think that it wouldn't be healthy. I think that I wouldn't know, especially a big lump sum of money. Gradual, increase. I think that would be the best way, just because I've been able to manage. When I used to get paid $400 at the fast food every 2 weeks, so I've been able to manage that, and so now that I'm getting paid a little bit more, then I've been able to manage that. But if you were just to give me $10 million, like I don't know what I would do. I don't think it would be healthy. I wouldn't be able to sleep, not knowing how to handle that. So I'm good where I'm at. I'm good where I'm at. But so the book, the reason I'm listening to it again for a second time is just because it has some cool principles that I agree, and so that I kind of want to take into practice. And so it gives you different lessons about not just money, but you know um, being aware of the people you hang out with, being aware of, they, don't go for advice about brick, or to someone that makes bread. Don't go for advice for someone who, about money, who's bad with money. So things of that nature. Because I think we all need somebody to vent and to kind of put some trust in. And this is why I use this type of setting, which is a wash and talk, to be able to share some of my thoughts and my ideas and things that that I've been going through. And yeah, man, I mean, just lately I've been just thinking about, where are we in society? Are we actually enjoying the moment, or we're kind of just busy trying to capture it? And this is coming from a guy that records himself going to car meets. So yeah, but definitely, does it sound contradictory? Yes, it sounds. I'm definitely contradicting myself on this sense. Um, but I've at least I know personally that, if I go to Carson Coffee, the video might be 20 minutes, but I was there for maybe like 2 hours, and the rest of it was just, whatever. For the most part, every time I go to a Carson Coffee, whatever you guys get to see, that's exactly what I recorded, and that's it. And then the rest, I'm just having a chat with, with people. And the same thing with the interviews. Like I mentioned it to you guys, after the interview, I go and have coffee with the owner, and then we just chat. um I don't know, and I put my phone away, and just kind of maybe check it periodically in case there's an emergency. But other than that, it's the phone's away. I don't need to show or say where I'm at or what I'm doing constantly. Um, and I gravitate towards people like that. When we have a chat, we're having a chat. You're not on your phone constantly. I don't think I would want to be in my phone constantly if you're having a chat. So reciprocate the same thing. And obviously, we're in that place where I'm not gonna change your personality, nor I'm gonna attempt. But simple. Like if I ever hang out with somebody and they're constantly on their phone, and I feel like we're not connecting, then most likely be the last time we hang out. And not because I think I'm better than them, but just because it doesn't align with my values. It doesn't align with what I want to do. And I've had that with many people. Where like they want to discuss people, and they want to discuss certain things that I'm like, I could be doing something better with my time. And and so there's a lot of different things going on right now, and it's about to get worse with the whole like digital world, the metaverse that I've been hearing about. They're creating digital worlds, and you can create your digital avatar, and excuse me, and pretty much is Minecraft, but for adults. And that's where the whole technology is moving to. um and I don't want to be that old man, like, oh, my time, this is crap, because it's not everything is bad. But I also think that, damn, we're losing a lot that we don't even know. And so I'm glad I'm alive in the era that I'm in. I wouldn't want to be alive in 100 years from now. Not because uh I don't think that I would be able to survive. Yeah, I'll be able to survive, but I just, damn, like, I see some of these new generations, the way they interact or lack of interaction, and I'm like, no, I don't. I like the era that I grew up, and obviously, if you're older than I am, you're like, no, dude, you definitely don't know what connecting was, because you had to connect with people. There was no YouTube, there was no computers, there was no phones, and so I completely agree. And that's the reason why I'm more of an old soul. I'm more of a person that, like, just keep it in old school, man. Until I can. But in my lifetime, I'm gonna see so many changes. I mean, for goodness sakes, we have an electric car that drives itself. Like that's, I mean, so many years back that would have been unheard of, and now I'm just like, yeah, that's normal. That's the way technology is. It keeps moving fast, and so when I think back about like when I was in high school and just I used to whenever I want to have a conversation with a girl, I would write notes to her, and then I would walk towards I knew like their schedule. I knew like, okay, she after this period she goes to this period, so then I could get her note and I'll give her my note, and then it's like we were having two conversations at once, because obviously you answer one question that she had and then you answer another question, and so then you go and see them and exchange notes, and that's something that obviously nowadays kids just like, oh, what's your Snapchat or what's your TikTok. They'll never get to understand. I often see on Instagram, there's these pages that are tribute to like old school stuff, like back in the day people used to go to the swap meet and take pictures with the little background. And that's how you knew you hung out over the weekend, because Monday would come and they will be giving out pictures, and you're like, oh, you guys hung out. Nowadays it's like, oh yeah, we're just gonna put it in our story, and then everybody would have those little wallet pictures in front of their folders, and then they would make plans to all dress the same way and go and hang out. And so I like that. I miss that. I follow pages that just have pictures from like the 80s and 90s, and just especially when they have a story. I like that. Oh, so and so from whoever, what city, and the years of so homecoming from, I don't know, Garfield High or something, East Los Angeles, 1992. Like, I like that. I don't know them, but just to think that man, there was a lot of people before us, and there's gonna be a lot of people after us. Even the place where we live, right now, like I guess I wonder, like, how many people lived before me here, and after I'm gone, like, how many people are gonna live here, or they're gonna knock them out and put something else. Like, the thing is, like, we're only here for a short term, for a short time, and so how many memories do you have? Now that we have digital memory, which is you store it in this cloud and it stays there forever, are we am I more concerned with creating digital memories than actual memories? And that's a conversation that I'm having with myself. Like, no, you should be in the moment, you should be present, you should be able to enjoy those times with people. There's definitely a room for technology, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be like a super downer. I mean, obviously I get to benefit from this digital world by talking to a mic and people from all over. There's this young lady who I didn't know she listened to the Washington Talks, and she's in, where is she at? I am so sorry, I think Iowa. I am butchering that, but she got her Instagram page erased at 7,000 followers, and she's trying to build another one. And yeah, she was watching the Washington Talks, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't think that somebody would want to watch those, like I think it's just Rob from Canada and me over in Samuel. I don't even know if Samuel watches the whole thing. I think somebody just like logs into comment number 1 and that's it. But that's it, and I know that a lot of you guys do listen, and I feel like that's the reason why I try to hang out with people that share the same mentality. I gravitate towards those people. One of the stories that I have is back when I was a freshman in high school, Mr. Hill was my teacher, and he still teaches at the same high school. But he was cool because he was like, Gus, like, you're a smart kid, but you'd rather be a class clown, and you do the work, but it's just like the minimal work just to get you passing. And I think it's because you procrastinate on your work, but you can do your work. And I was like, yeah. He's like, just remember, like, even though you haven't started, you haven't started writing, like, if you mentally think about the topic, mentally think about how you want to structure the paragraphs, mentally do that, you're already working on it. You're already getting things done. And that always stuck by me, because then I was like, oh, okay, so anything that I do in life, it's going to be that. Like, okay, I may have not started yet, but I'm thinking about it. And I think, I don't know if it's psychological, whatever, or he just told me that to kind of make me feel good or whatever. But it's been helping. I think in a lot of things in life, I've been able to see a good progress just by thinking and kind of measuring, putting it out there in the universe. I'm huge on that. Saving money has always been one of my goals, and I always think about it. And now I can say that I'm better. I'm good. I'm in a comfortable spot. Um, moving to a different place where I felt comfortable. That's working out. Like all these different things that I'm putting in my head, and then projecting it come true. Now I'm not sitting on my butt and just waiting for it to happen. No, obviously there's a lot of work that goes into it, but that's the idea, right? The idea is the fact that you're putting it in your head, because the biggest conversation you're having all day long is the one that you're having with yourself. All of us have that conversation. So what are you feeding yourself? If I focus on people that are constantly showing their physical material things, then I'm gonna be um, unhappy, because I may or may not have those same things, or I may have the same thing but not as new. And that's the reason why I try to stay away as much from technology. Whenever I'm not using it, I'm really just trying to focus in the moment or do little things that at one point that's what we did. When I go with my family, I try to play like Uno and little board games, because I did that with my uncles. And at the time I didn't have the internet, so at the time that was the only thing to do. But now my family has other ways of spending their energy, and so they don't have to play. But if we make time for each other and we do that, it's keeping a little bit of that old school tradition of, hey, when you're with family, you interact with family, because they're not going to be there forever. And I've noticed that with myself. Like I mentioned it to you guys, I graduated from high school in 2009. I know some of you guys were class of 86. I get it. But to me it's like, it's been a bit, man. It's been a bit. And so um I can only imagine. I can only imagine how cool the parties were in 1986, 1991, 1990. All those. Like, you guys went through different experiences, which I'm sure that nobody could replicate. And so I think about that. I think about like the traditions that we're losing. Um, I don't know. I think it's fun to see where we're moving, but I think it's also important to know where we come from, and to hold those things, for us. And I know, like, some of my coworkers, they talk about, they don't use technology, whenever they have a thing where they're gonna have dinner, no one brings out their phones. And I'll be honest, my family's not like that. My family has their phones, constantly, and sometimes I just put my phone away and just kind of observe and say, well, that's kind of where we're at right now in life. But we will keep pushing. We'll keep trying for me to kind of retain a little bit of those old school memories, man. But yeah, like I used to just give little notes to girls and write stories, and in between passing periods, and we'll be like, oh, you want to hang out after school, or if they would walk, be like, oh, what time are you walking? Like, you want to walk with me? I'll walk with you, and um, yeah, it was fun. It was fun, especially when you had the energy when you were younger. Like, especially if you like somebody, right? Like, you're gonna walk with them, even if it's like an hour and a half walk. Now, damn, you can't get me to walk for 20 minutes. But back then in high school, man, I was like, yes, I'll let it be 5 hours. I don't care. I'm gonna hang out with so and so, and I think that's cool, because you would. I mean, at least from my experience, I remember I would, if I liked the girl and she was cool and she wanted to walk, then we would walk. We just talk about pretty much, the school day and things that were going on in her life and things like that. And then like, well, you want to call me later? And then we had the landline, so if I did talk to somebody, like, the whole house knew I was talking to somebody, because we only had one phone. And so I would have to bring out the phone all the way to the hallway, and everybody could hear my conversation. But that was cool. I mean, it just now looking back, it's like, man, that was live, or three-way calling. Man, I remember for the first time I did it, like, oh my god, there's three people in this call. How cool are we right now? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we were talking about. It was my buddies. my two buddies and myself, and we were three-way calling, and like, what are you doing? Nothing. I'm talking to you, to you too. Oh yeah, me too. I think it was just cool to try it because I think we heard it from somebody. It's like, oh, I think you can talk to two other people. Like, really? How do you do it? Um, and it worked. And then obviously, as time progresses and more digital stuff come in, but I mean, ultimately, that's the ultimate message for me, at least in this conversation, to be present, to gravitate towards people that have your same values. I mean, it's okay if you're into material things. It's okay if you share the passion for something, that you're gonna go in, and you're gonna go into those rabbit holes. You're gonna go into that niche of people. Hence why, we are creating a community of knuckleheads that like 90s and 80s junkers, and some 70s. Like, it's a Honda community that mostly shows love, and I don't know why you may tune into these Washington talks and stuff, but that's what we're trying to create, right? We're trying to create hopefully something that is beneficial, something that you can take back and be like, oh, okay, he says something that kind of resonates with me, so I'm gonna try to apply it. Or maybe the whole opposite, like, no, I disagree with him. And please share your thoughts on the comment sections. You guys don't have to agree with me. You guys don't have to, just be polite about it. That's all I ask. But yeah, I mean, I try to gravitate towards people that have the same beliefs, and again, not necessarily that I'm nitpicking every little thing, but for sure, one other thing for me, the biggest ones, is integrity and humbleness. And if I feel like you're not humble yourself, like, it's kind of difficult for me to want to be around you, because it just creates this uneasy feeling on my end. And I guess maybe because it just comes from, I'm still that random dude that just goes to car meets and watches, looks some cars, takes some pictures, and then goes home. Like, that's just my personality. And I told you guys, man, like, if this thing, the algorithm, ever hits and it goes to 1.2 million, 10 million freaking followers, I'm still gonna be watching my little cars here. Like, it's just not. I'm still a regular ass dude, and I think that social media kind of makes you think otherwise. Like, somehow, now that you have all these set of followers, now you can, be different or treat people differently or act differently. It's like, nah, man. Like, I still wanna do the same thing, hang out with the same dudes at a Cars and Coffee. I still wanna create memories, not just record them. Not just not everything has to be on camera, and that's, I feel like we're having a lot of that. With the people that I'm meeting, and I think that's pretty cool. That I'm still keeping some old school mentality. I'm still hanging out with people, and yeah, I'll interview them about their car, but then I get to ask a whole bunch of questions about them, and I get to learn about them. And obviously stuff that you guys wouldn't see, right? Because again, not everything has to be on camera. But I hope you guys enjoy this rambling of nothing. But yeah, if you guys want to share, what is some old school stuff that you guys did in high school, or that was back then for cool for you guys? For me, it was a three-way calling, man. As soon as I figured that out, I was like, damn, so cool. But yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Appreciate the mad love and the support, and thank you.